Today, I thought of focusing on the topic of pain and suffering, since the recent events around our world brings this topic in view. I think of Jesus' words in John 16:33, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have tribulations, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." You know, as followers of Christ, God has provided many wonderful resources to us in order that we may not suffer alone or be without hope. He has given us His Word. He's given us His Spirit, a Spirit where we can cry out, "Abba, Father." I think of Romans 8 that way. He has given us His church, the body of Christ, to bear one another's burdens. And we can even do it electronically in social distance, but we can minister to one another. And He's given us prayer, just the ability to cry out to God. But He also has provided many good books from fellow saints who share good reminders of God's rich provisions by way of teachings and testimonies through trials. And so I have 4 books that I'd like to recommend today. The first book is entitled "Walking with God Through Pain and Suffering," and it's written by Timothy Keller. You can download this book through Kindle, but I've read this book, but I'm now re-listening through Audible, and so just hearing it in a different format. But Timothy Keller is a pastor of Redeemer Presbyterian Church in New York City, and he provides an overview of why the Bible and the God of the Bible provides the only true hope of understanding and walking through this life that is filled with pain and suffering. And in a world of people growing skeptical and doubting of God's goodness, he does a good job of introducing, the God of the Bible, the God whom we believe in Jesus Christ, is trustworthy because He does understand pain and suffering. So it's a bit academic, but once again, it's intellectual for those who you may be sharing the gospel with. This is a good intro to the issue of pain and suffering. A book more on a devotional level is entitled "Be Still My Soul," and it's edited by Nancy Guthrie. And the editor has taken the time to compile 25 different authors, both contemporaries such as Johnny Erickson Tada to saints of the past like Jonathan Edwards or John Calvin, and just taking time to compile 25 short and insightful accounts on the issue of pain and suffering. And they serve really to remind us that as followers of Christ, we follow a long line of saints who have endured and persevered to testify that what we possess is a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, and His name is Jesus. The third book that I'd like to recommend is called "Grief Undone" by Elizabeth Groves. It was written from the wife of a seminary professor, Elizabeth, whose husband had suffered from cancer and succumbed to cancer, but she gives a very detailed and insightful account. There's 89 entries, and they're 1 or 2 pages, but they're so insightful of understanding this journey of walking with God through cancer. And the deacons we read it together, and it was very both instructive but helpful, and filled with many tears as well. But I highly recommend this book. I couldn't go away with recognizing my heart for missions and for missionaries. Probably a book that one of the must-reads that I would ask of any missionary, anyone aspire to serve in cross-cultural ministry. This book is called "To the Golden Shore" by Courtney Anderson, and it's it's a biography on the life of Adoniram Judson, who was the first missionary sent from North America, and he was sent to Burma, present-day Myanmar, and just the account of his life of both trials and tribulations, and yet God used him greatly as He humbled him mightily. But I highly recommend this book. And if you have any desire on just seeing the glory of God beyond your borders, I highly recommend this book as well. So these are just 4 books. I'm looking forward to many more to encourage the saints here.